Hey guys, it's Horace here. So I've been wanting to do something like this for a little while. Today's video is gonna be kind of boring. It's gonna be kind of like lame. But I feel like it'll be interesting to kind of like get my thoughts out. And just sort of like discuss some of the things I've been experiencing lately. Now I've been sick on and off now for like about 4 months, I think, or maybe more, because now it's February, so I'm not even sure. But it's been a while, basically. I've been, you know, I guess incrementally sick, where I'll go through phases of time, periods of time where I'm more or less fine. I'll go through periods of time where I'm really bad, like my symptoms are really bad. And then there's also sometimes periods where it's like mostly okay, but there's, here and there mild symptoms, which is kind of what I'm at right now, I guess, like presently today when I'm recording this. It really does vary from day to day. I want to make that very clear. Now, prior to this experience, have never really had serious health issues. I have like dealt with GERD, gastrointestinal reflux disease, on and off now for a few years. I would say it was like near the end of high school that I began having bad acid reflux. But it started getting really bad during like my first semester of college, I would say. So around 2022, 2023 was when it started becoming like a daily issue in my life. Now, at some point in 2023, I want to say early 2023, I actually got the stomach flu. And I hadn't gotten the stomach flu in years, like genuinely. Like I think the last time I had even like thrown up, I think I was in middle school. I don't even know if it was in like, maybe grade six. I don't even know. Maybe grade six or grade seven. Oh, six, seven. um, it was a long time ago. So this was a particularly weird thing. So I did it anyway. So one day, and that whole thing was weird. So basically, I had ordered Chinese food. In fact, actually, I ordered Hakka Chinese food, which, if you know, that stuff's pretty heavy duty. Um, I had ordered it on fucking DoorDash or Skip the Dishes. I don't remember. And I ate like, it was everything. It was like, crispy beef. It was, Szechuan chicken, pakoras, you name it, right? Everything. And General Tso's chicken, of course. Anyways, I threw up like bad that night. I threw up. It was like it was horrible. Like worse than I think it had been when I was a kid. Like genuinely, one of the scariest things. And at the time I was living with my roommate, who of course he ended up getting sick as well because when you have stomach flu and when you throw up, it becomes airborne. So anybody who's in the vicinity of you is gonna get sick. So around that time, I started like using a lot of Pepto Bismol. I would drink it like it was water, basically. Because Pepto Bismol is actually, it's not just good for GERD and acid reflux. It's also recommended for like nausea and when you're vomiting. So during my time in college, I ate like a complete pig. I absolutely regret that. One of my biggest regrets. Before college, I had actually lost a ton of weight. I was probably in the best shape I'd ever been in, like when I was like 17 or 18. It was also like after COVID, so I was eating a lot better, like over the lockdown and then going into 2021 or so, 2022. Then during my like freshman year of college, the first semester alone, I was under a lot of stress. I was going through a lot of stuff. I wanted to switch programs. I wasn't doing well. I was flunking all my classes, and I was pigging out. I was eating so much junk. Like I was ordering, you know, Papa John's pizzas with crazy bread and deep dish from Little Caesars, stuffed crust from Pizza Hut. There was a Pizza Hut and a KFC right by my school, by my campus. So I was eating that crap like multiple times a week sometimes. And then of course I was getting crazy DoorDash orders and just wasting so much money. Like honestly, it is actually depressing. I was on some like King Cobra, JFS type shit. Rest in peace to goat. It was bad. It's like really bad. And I think bad habits catch up to you. So and other than so yeah, going back to my present condition. back in October, I think it was October 26th, there was one night where I, had done my typical routine. I stayed up the whole night. It was like 6 a.m. maybe. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to sleep, pop a melatonin, whatever. And, I was lying in bed. I was, kind of tossing and turning. And I started feeling these heart palpitations. And I didn't know what it was. Like, I had gotten heart palpitations a few times before. Like, there was one time during my freshman year of college where maybe was it the summer before? It was the summer before my freshman year of college, where I had bought this weird pre-workout because I was really into fitness at the time. And I had a pre-workout like that I had been using that was fine, but for some reason I wanted to try this weird, it was like a Ring Pop flavored one. I saw it like a supplement store and I was like, you know what? I want to try this. So, so anyways, that shit made me sick. I took like just like a scoop and a half of it, and it was bad. It was like it gave me heart palpitations. It was like my heart rate was going gunk like a million miles an hour. So I basically ended up going to a walk-in clinic, and was just told it'll dissipate, it'll go away, whatever. And then I also had an experience during my sophomore year of high school. It was like first semester. This is before lockdown, where for whatever reason, I don't know if it was stress or what it was, because it was going through a lot of anxiety and stuff. I remember having heart palpitations during school. Like I remember I think it was last period. I had science, and I remember actually going home early one day because of it being like I'm not feeling well, and then going to my doctor and everything, and my doctor did like a physical and told me I was fine. So there had been a few isolated incidents of me dealing with this before, but what was happening here, this was new. So I ended up calling an ambulance for myself. I ended up calling 911. I had never done that before. I had never even really been in a hospital. Like, I think the last time I had gone to a hospital before, like, this past fall was probably when I was, like, a kid getting, like, my adenoids taken out. So, anyways, I go to the hospital. I wait, and because you call an ambulance, they're going to give you more, like, attention. So my triage was a lot quicker. They put me in a wheelchair. I didn't have to walk. And I ended up seeing a doctor pretty soon. Now, the whole thing with the doctor, they did, like a basic thing. Like they did an EKG. They did blood work to check for like troponin levels. They did, had me hooked up to like a heart monitor and everything. And they told me I was fine. Now, the symptoms I had that day are the same symptoms that I have still like now, incrementally. So the main symptoms I get, it tends to be heart palpitations, chest pain, tightness, discomfort. Fatigue is a big one. Lightheadedness, feeling kind of like nausea occasionally, but it depends. Like that's more of like an occasional one, not as much. And also I've had that before, And then other than that, I would say those are the main ones. There's other stuff too. Like there are times when I feel like my throat is tight. That sounds weird, but you know what I mean. Where like it's difficult to eat. And I get these symptoms incrementally, like sometimes they're really, really bad and I'm having a flare up and I can't sleep. Sometimes they are manageable. And sometimes they're kind of in the middle, like how they are right now. And, I'm in the process of doing things. So back when I went to the doctor in October, I was given a, referral. Now, the referral was to a cardiologist, and I was set to go get a echocardiograph, which is like a heart ultrasound, which I did, and it ended up being totally normal. I got a Holter monitor, which I had to wear for 2 days, I think. I still haven't gotten the results from that yet. I'm pretty sure it's something I'm going to be figuring out soon. And then I'm set to be seeing a cardiologist on the 24th, I believe, or maybe the 23rd. Now, they're obviously going to do all the stuff like stress test or whatever. And we'll see what comes with that, right? We'll see what the cardiologist says. From what I've seen of my symptoms, they seem to be pretty like kind of semi-common with people that have GERD and anxiety, which I have diagnoses for both of those. But yeah, I really don't know. I mean, every day is different. And then the anxiety, it sets you into a vicious cycle where you have anxiety, you can't sleep, you feel worse because you're tired. You get, like another symptom I have is chills, when I'm, especially either when I'm not sleeping enough or not eating enough. Anyways, so yeah, that's some, me ranting about my medical issues. I plan to do another video talking about my experiences in like hospitals and like the ER. But yeah, if you like this video, give it a like, subscribe if you want to, and let me know if you have any similar stories, if you have any similar experiences with these type of symptoms. I'm always down to talk. But yeah, thank you for watching. Bye.